My name is Emma, and I'm a 46-year-old stay-at-home mom. I'm currently pregnant, and because it's a late-in-life pregnancy, I'm being extra careful with everything. One day, just after my husband, Jake, came back from an outing he'd said he had to go on, he hit me with a bombshell.
I'm sorry, I want a divorce.
A divorce? Why?
The truth is, my ex-wife doesn't have much time left. I want to be by her side.
Jake and I got married after he'd been divorced, and he has a son who's in middle school.
I got a call from my son for the first time in ages telling me his mom's been given a terminal diagnosis.
Jake covered his face with his hands.
They said she only has a year left.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but why does that have to lead to divorce?
I want to be with her for her last year, as much as possible. If we don't get divorced, rumors might start, and I don't want that to be a burden on you.
I don't care about that. Can't you just go visit her without getting divorced?
I couldn't do anything for them, so at the very least, I want to be like family for her in the end.
Sorry, I don't get it. You're really going to throw away me and the child we're about to have for that?
You!
Well, isn't it true? You're part of this family with us now. It's irresponsible.
How heartless can you be?
Jake slammed his fist on the table, and my heart skipped a beat in shock.
She's fighting for her life against this illness. You and the baby have a future, but she only has a year left. Are you seriously going to take away her last chance to be happy?
That's not what I meant.
I've heard enough.
With that, Jake pulled out a piece of paper from his bag and slapped it on the table.
My part is already filled out. All that's left is for you to sign and file it at the office.
Wait a minute. Let's talk this through calmly.
I've got nothing more to say.
And with that, Jake headed to the door, slamming it shut as he left. What is this? The divorce papers left on the table seemed to almost glow ominously. 1 week later, I found myself standing in front of a hospital. This was the hospital I'd found through a detective agency, where Jake's ex-wife was supposedly admitted. As I reached the door to her room, I heard cheerful voices from inside. I knew Jake was there today. I cracked the door open slightly and listened closely.
The deception was a great success.
Now we can finally get back together.
Seriously, you're the worst. Suggesting I tell Emma you have only a year left just because of a simple fracture.
Well, it had to be extreme, didn't it? Isn't your current wife super clingy and hard to shake off?
Exactly. When I asked her for a divorce the other day, it was such a hassle. I ended up just leaving the papers on the table and walking out.
Oh, really?
I had the urge to storm in right then and there.
Well, after everything I said, she'll probably go through with the divorce. There's no way she'll try to stick around after hearing I'm staying with someone who has just a year left.
Well, I know everything though. Listening to the two of them laugh, completely oblivious that they'd been found out, made me chuckle a bit too. I don't need someone who's willing to throw away his family like this. I decided to go through with the divorce. The next day, I called Jake. Hello?
What is it? I'm still mad, you know.
He sounded annoyed, but it didn't bother me in the least. I was wrong the other day. I signed the divorce papers and filed them today. I just wanted to let you know.
Wait, really? That quickly?
I've thought it over. Of course, you'd want to be there for your ex-wife in her last moments.
Oh, thank you. Now I can be there for her. Chelsea will be so happy to hear this.
Please take care of your new family. With that, I hung up quietly. I decided to keep the apartment we'd lived in as compensation. When Jake came to pick up his things, it was the first time we'd seen each other in a while, and we shook hands.
Chelsea was really happy. She asked me to thank you on her behalf.
That's good to hear. Please tell her I wish her all the best.
I'm sorry for calling you heartless. I was wrong.
If someone had been told their ex-wife was terminally ill, they'd have probably thought the same. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, thank you.
Jake, with tears in his eyes, expressed his thanks to me in a performance worthy of an Oscar.
I'll never forget you, Emma. Take care of yourself.
Same here, Jake. I'll never forget you. Be well.
Yeah.
After Jake, now my ex-husband, left, I quickly went to wash my hands. May he suffer for betraying me and our child. I hope he regrets it. As I pictured his future, I smiled. 3 weeks later, I gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Motherhood kept me so busy that I hardly had time to think about Jake. Then, about a year later, just as I'd put my daughter down for a nap and was about to make some tea, my phone on the table started blaring. Oh no, I forgot to set it to silent. She's going to wake up. I rushed to grab it and glanced at the screen. Of all people, it was Jake. Hello.
Hello, Emma. It's been a while.
It's been a while. What's going on all of a sudden?
Well, would it be okay if I came over?
Right now, that's not really convenient.
I'll be there in about an hour.
Wait, hold on. But before I could respond, Jake hung up the call. What am I supposed to do? Jake's coming over here? I hurried to get ready. Exactly an hour later, the doorbell rang, and a familiar face appeared on the monitor.
I'm sorry, Emma, for barging in like this.
Jake looked worn out, clearly not doing well. What's this about? I led him into the living room. Suddenly, he fell to his knees.
Emma, please, I'm begging you. Can you lend me some money?
Money?
I know I'm asking a lot, and this is the least I can do.
Fine, but can you explain what's going on? What happened after we divorced? Jake finally lifted his head, stood up, and began explaining.
After we divorced, I tried to remarry Chelsea right away, but she asked me to hold off on the paperwork.
Why? I thought she wanted to remarry too.
She did, but Chelsea has this fortune teller she really trusts. He told her it wasn't the right time to remarry.
A fortune teller? Seriously? That sounds way too suspicious.
I thought so too at first, but this guy predicted my son's high school entrance exam results exactly right, and even figured out I had back pain I hadn't told anyone about. Everything he says comes true. I got completely sold on it.
Was he always this gullible? I mean, entrance exam results can pretty much be guessed based on practice tests, and he probably noticed Jake massaging his back without realizing it. So did you really just put off getting remarried because of that? Jake nodded.
Yeah, according to the fortune teller, the earliest we could marry was in a year. And in the meantime, he said we had to prepare a bunch of things.
Prepare? Like finding a place to live together or sorting out his stuff. But Jake's response was completely unexpected.
To ward off bad energy, I had to wear a bracelet the fortune teller blessed every day.
A bracelet? Like a charm?
Yeah, something like that.
Wait, did you buy this from the fortune teller?
Yeah, Chelsea recommended it.
How much did it cost?
About $300.
$300? Is it that thing you're wearing on your wrist? I looked at the beaded bracelet around his wrist, and he nodded.
Yeah, this one.
Let me see it. As soon as I took it in my hands, I could tell. This is just plain beads. I thought for $300 it'd be some decent natural stones.
What?
Yes, and look, it's so light. I tossed it lightly in my hand, and Jake, his face pale, reached out to stop me.
Stop that. What if I get cursed?
You won't get cursed from a toy like this. I handed the bracelet back, and Jake carefully slipped it back onto his wrist. So, what else did you buy from that fortune teller?
Well, there's also the purifying water he claimed was drawn from a mountain spring, and a jar he said would trap any negative energy.
Hearing this classic scam script, I felt my head spin. Just out of curiosity, how much did you pay for that water and jar?
$30 for a 2-liter bottle of water and $1,300 for a jar?
Oh my God. That price almost sounds like a joke.
But the water tasted incredible. I wasn't just drinking it. I used it in cooking and even for baths, and I swear my skin started to glow.
Cooking and bathing? That must have used up a crazy amount.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Are you serious?
I know, okay, but at the time I was desperate to remarry Chelsea. The fortune teller said that if I followed his advice, we'd live happily ever after once we were married.
Jake's tone turned defensive, almost like he was frustrated with me. When he noticed my shocked expression, he coughed lightly and continued his story.
So I bought everything the fortune teller suggested, preparing for the remarriage. But after a year passed and I thought it was finally time, one day Chelsea and her son suddenly disappeared.
Suddenly?
Yeah, I was totally confused and tried calling her phone, but it was disconnected. I figured the fortune teller might know something, so I asked him, and he said,
Jake clenched his fists.
Chelsea went to the mountains to purify herself as the final step toward remarriage.
Well, I guess being in nature can be refreshing for the mind, so that kind of makes sense.
When I asked when she'd be back, he wouldn't give me a clear answer. He just said it was an important time and told me to wait until Chelsea contacted me.
And you just waited?
What else could I do? Since we divorced once already, Chelsea wanted to make sure it would work out this time. After all that, I didn't have much of a choice but to wait.
You should have realized you were being scammed way earlier than that. When I finally pointed this out, Jake looked down, speechless. Most people would have caught on when the fortune teller started making demands for blessed purchases, but Jake, entirely focused on remarrying his ex, had lost all sense of logic. So, did Chelsea ever come back?
A week went by after she supposedly went to the mountains, then 2, but there was still no word from her. I couldn't wait any longer and called the fortune teller, but his phone was disconnected too.
I let out a long sigh, hardly believing I was hearing this story from someone so close. So, that's when you finally realized you'd been scammed. Jake didn't deny it. He just nodded, looking defeated.
By the time I figured it out, it was too late. I'd bought everything he recommended and even attended these energy alignment classes he suggested. My savings were almost gone.
All that just because you wanted to remarry Chelsea? I can't believe it.
I know, I was a fool.
So now that you're broke, you've come here to ask me to cover your expenses?
Yes, and there are a few things I bought on installment plans that I still need to pay off too. That's why.
Jake once again begged deeply.
Please, lend me the money.
First, I need to confirm something.
What is it?
I divorced you because you told me Chelsea only had a year to live, and you wanted to be there for her. But she's still alive. Was that all a lie?
Yes, I lied to you because I wanted to be with Chelsea. I'm truly sorry.
I've moved on. I felt nothing for you after the divorce.
I promise I'll pay you back. Just please lend me the money.
I already said I have no feelings for you, didn't I? I may feel sympathy for you getting scammed, but I don't pity you one bit. This is karma.
Please, I'm begging you. What am I supposed to do if you don't help me?
Jake clung to my legs, crying like a desperate child. Let go of me. This has nothing to do with me. You should try going to the police or something.
I did, but they told me that finding those people might be impossible, and even if they did, there's almost no chance of getting my money back.
That's unfortunate. You should just accept it.
You're still as heartless as ever. I'm your ex-husband, and I'm in trouble. Don't you want to help me?
Oh, I'll help you, all right. I'm not heartless. In fact, I've called someone for you.
Called who?
You can get your money back yourself, directly from them.
What are you talking about?
As Jake looked at me, confused, the intercom rang. Yes? I unlocked the building's door, watching the screen as they entered.
Who's here?
You'll find out soon enough. A few moments later, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and invited them into the living room. Please come in.
Excuse us, huh?
Chelsea and Thomas.
What are you doing here?
What do you mean, this is?
Oh, are you three all acquainted? What a coincidence.
Emma, what's going on?
These two took your money, didn't they? I called them here so you could get it back directly. I did this for you.
How? How did you know it was them?
Emma, what's happening?
The two people who had just arrived were Chelsea, Jake's ex-wife, and Thomas, the so-called fortune teller. All three of them stood frozen in shock at this sudden encounter. The day you demanded a divorce, I knew something was off. So, I hired a detective agency. That's how I found out that Chelsea was supposedly hospitalized.
You did all that?
I knew when you'd be visiting her, so I followed you to the hospital. I watched you two happily talking in her room, saying things like, "We fooled her, now we can get back together."
You heard all that?
It was infuriating. Here I was, pregnant and going through a tough time, while you were busy pulling this nonsense. But that wasn't even the worst part of it. I turned my gaze toward Thomas, the self-proclaimed fortune teller. He furrowed his brows under my scrutiny. After you left, Thomas entered the room about 10 minutes later.
What?
I listened for a while, and I heard it again. You both talked about how you'd successfully tricked him, and by him, they meant you, Jake.
Me?
They were working together, manipulating you with promises of remarriage just to milk you for money. And by the way, Chelsea and Thomas are legally married.
So that's why she kept postponing the remarriage?
Realizing their scheme had been exposed, both Chelsea and Thomas looked down, wearing bitter expressions.
Wait, so you knew the whole time I was being tricked, from back then?
Well, yes.
Why didn't you tell me? If you told me, I wouldn't have divorced you.
Are you serious?
What?
I crossed my arms, looking at this selfish, foolish man. I owed you nothing. Why would I help someone who lied to me, who was willing to abandon his pregnant wife out of sheer selfishness?
That's
Still, I felt a little bad. That's why I arranged for them to be here today.
So you tricked us into coming by saying you had something to discuss.
Chelsea slammed her hand down on the table in anger. Please, don't do that to the furniture in someone else's home.
I thought it was strange when you insisted on bringing a woman along.
Oh, the female company thing?
After we divorced, I used social media to track down this so-called fortune teller. When you suddenly announced he was coming over, I figured it was the perfect chance to bring everyone together.
Thomas, you said you weren't using social media. I told you it'd leave a trail.
I was just posting about stuff I bought. It was harmless.
Thomas's account was a gold mine. All his posts were of luxury purchases. He probably bought with the money he scammed from Jake.
My money.
I even spotted Chelsea in the reflection of one of those photos. That's how I knew.
This is all your fault, Thomas. What do we do now?
I didn't think anyone would look that closely.
If you're going to do shady things, you should be more careful, don't you think? Chelsea glared daggers at me as I smirked. I contacted Thomas, pretending to be a client looking for advice. I said I had struggles and needed guidance, but also mentioned I'd feel uncomfortable being alone with a man, so if there was a woman around, she should come along. Clever, right?
Wow, I can't believe you'd go this far, Emma.
Jake looked at me, clearly moved.
This is bad, Thomas. We got caught way too easily.
Calm down, Chelsea. I've got this under control.
Under control? Give me back the money you stole from me.
Stole? That's a strong word. I just recommended some products, and you agreed to buy them. Asking for a refund now is ridiculous.
Thomas, with a smug look, brushed off Jake's demand. But his arrogance was starting to crack. The truth is, tricking someone into spending money by dangling marriage is considered marriage fraud. You could get arrested.
Ha! This guy was just obsessively chasing after my wife, all because he misunderstood things. Creepy, right? Thanks to him, Chelsea's been living in fear. Isn't that right?
Yes, he kept calling me every day. I thought I was going to have a breakdown.
No, you told me you wanted to try again.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
This is unbelievable.
It looked like they were trying to paint Jake as a stalker to avoid trouble.
Jake was so persistent. We had no choice but to run away together. Meeting him again now is just the worst. What are you going to do about it?
Chelsea glared at me, her anger directed my way. But it wasn't up to me to determine who was lying. You can tell all of this to the police, not to me.
Police!
Just then, the intercom buzzed again. Please come on in.
Wait. What do you mean, talk to the police?
Exactly what it sounds like. Someone's here to pick you up.
No way!
I opened the front door, revealing several police officers standing outside. They're right here.
What's going on?
Let me go! Hey, did you call them?
Who's to say?
We're arresting these two on suspicion of marriage fraud.
No. Stop it. You'll pay for this.
Doubt it. I probably won't remember you.
I was planning to leave the country right after this. Damn it.
Well, you're in luck. You're about to go somewhere even more thrilling. The police escorted the two of them away with surprising ease. I watched them go, feeling like a mother sending her child off to kindergarten.
This can't be real.
Jake was standing there with his mouth open, struggling to process the sudden turn of events as he watched them disappear. I walked over to him, placing a hand on his shoulder. At least they'll face justice now. You probably won't get your money back, but do you feel a bit better?
Emma,
What is it? Why do you look like that?
I did something awful to you, and yet you still did all of this for me.
In a way, I'm a victim here too. I couldn't just ignore it.
Thank you so much.
Jake took both my hands in his, gripping them tightly. All right, let go now. If you're done here, it's time for you to go. As I nudged him to leave, he looked at me with a newfound determination. What is it?
I've made up my mind.
I nodded, holding his gaze unwaveringly. You've made up your mind?
Yes, Emma, let's start over.
What?
I finally understand. You're the only one for me.
Wait a second.
You even went through all this trouble today to bring them here for me. That has to mean you still have feelings for me, right?
Don't be ridiculous. That's not it at all.
Come on, don't be shy.
I am not being shy.
Emma, let's remarry and start over in this house.
With you? Absolutely not.
Oh, and isn't our child born by now? Let me see them.
No way. I don't want someone who forgot about their own child until now to meet them.
Come on, just a quick look. I'm still the father, after all, and
Jake gave me a disturbingly cheerful smile.
kids need a father figure, don't they?
You abandoned me while I was pregnant. What kind of father are you?
The child's still young. If we remarry now, they'll never know we were divorced in the first place.
Jake began closing the distance between us, and I instinctively took a few steps back.
You're nearly 50, Emma. Raising a child alone won't be easy. Come on, let's remarry. I can handle the finances, and the child will have a father. It's not a bad offer.
It's nothing but a bad offer.
What? I'm offering to remarry you. Shouldn't you be grateful?
Why would I be thrilled to marry a man with debt? No, thank you.
You're heartless. You're depriving our child of a father.
She already has a father.
What?
Just then, the door to the next room opened. Honey, I told you not to come out.
This guy was getting too pushy. I couldn't stay quiet.
Who are you?
Nice to meet you. I'm Emma's husband, Alex.
Your husband? You got remarried?
Yes, quite recently.
So he's the child's father?
Legally, yes, you're no longer needed.
I heard the whole conversation from the beginning, Jake. Please leave. I'm Emma's husband now, and the father of her daughter.
Daughter? So the child is a girl.
See, you have no interest in us whatsoever, and you think you deserve to call yourself her father?
I'm the one who called the police too. I was worried they might harm Emma if things escalated. And if you stay here any longer, I'll call them again.
Ha! So you moved on in a year and found yourself another guy. How'd you trick him into this, huh?
How rude. Unlike you, I told him everything, including the fact that I have a child.
I know all about your divorce, Jake. And I know I'm far better suited to make Emma and our child happy. Honestly, I'm grateful you divorced her. Thank you, Jake.
Damn it. While I was suffering, you were cozying up with this guy?
The only reason you suffered is because of your own actions. Blaming others? You're still so immature. You were never meant to be a father.
Fine. If you lend me some money, I'll leave.
Leave?
I've got nothing left. No family, no money, just debts and work. Don't you feel the least bit sorry for me?
Not one bit. Face the truth already. This is all the result of your own foolishness.
Just a little. I'll pay it back, I swear.
How much debt do you have?
About $50,000.
$50,000? So you were hoping to borrow at least that much?
Well, yeah, that's about right.
Unbelievable. And when did you plan on repaying this quickly?
By the time I retire?
That's still 14 years away.
Think of it this way, at least you'll get it back in 14 years.
Oh, please. What could you possibly have bought to rack up such an amount? Let me guess. Useless charms, jars, and more jars.
Hey, they weren't useless. I did see some benefits.
Oh, like what?
Well, my salary at work went up.
Doesn't that seem like an awfully high price for a salary bump? Your savings are gone.
Enough. Just lend me the money.
No, leave. I'm not getting back together with you, and I never want to see you again.
You don't mean that. At least let me see our daughter once a month.
Denied.
But I'm her real father. I'm family. Don't you think she deserves that?
You're the one who threw her away first. You willingly gave up your family. Once something is broken, it can never go back to what it was, just like you and me, and you and our daughter. If you keep refusing to leave, I will call the police. If you leave now, I'll let you go peacefully.
I have nowhere to go. No one wants me anymore.
That's something you'll just have to live with.
If only Chelsea hadn't tricked me, none of this would have happened. I can't believe I ruined everything with my own mistakes.
It seems like you're finally starting to get it. The only thing you can do now is take responsibility for your own failures. That's all.
Thanks for everything.
Jake got up like a boxer who'd lost the fight, staggered down the hallway, then turned back to glance at Alex and me before leaving quietly. And just like that, he was gone, marking the end of his betrayal that had lingered for over a year. Though he chose to abandon us, he was also a victim, taken advantage of during a vulnerable time. I could never forgive him, no matter how many apologies he might give, but I hoped he'd learn from his mistakes. Later, I heard that Jake had returned to his parents, humbly asking them for help, and they managed to lend him some money. Of course, he never got back the money Chelsea and Thomas took from him. To make ends meet, he now works not only his weekday job, but also takes on weekend and holiday shifts. Meanwhile, Chelsea and her so-called fortune teller Thomas remain in custody, with no clear release date. It turns out they had other victims as well, and an investigation is ongoing. As for me, I put the apartment up for sale and bought a house closer to Alex's work. Now, with my husband, my daughter, and me, our little family of 3 lives happily together.